I have no idea who J.S. Bradford was. The Penn State Library tentatively links him to Major J. Selby Bradford, but he wrote non-fiction about the Battle of Dunkirk in the 1950s, and so there is little connection. I know that in 1936 he published Even a Worm, which we shall review today. It begins with Sir Francis Gordon at his hunting lodge, about to take a nap before a reporter from the Daily Flare comes in for an interview. Then we see several animals being killed or abused in various corners of Britain that same day, before we are whisked away to the Isles of Illusion, where 4 animal kings, the eagle, lion, whale and cobra, have come before Pan to ask vengeance on man. Thus the blood pact is sealed and all animals turn against man as the common enemy. It begins with armies of mice sent forth from ship to ship, as their leader knows it is his job to die so the plan may go on. Then there is a huge epidemic of stevedores being stung to death by snakes while unloading cargo from their ships. But the newspapers only care when the same happens to the wife of a viceroy. Then there is a particularly good chapter about an actor taking out his friends on a pleasure cruise to Shanghai, and all of them dying from cholera when one of the rats drowns itself in the water tank, all but the man's mistress who dies of fright. But then Bradford becomes guilty of a most tedious backsliding, with a chapter about a bunch of horses who refuse to run a race. Then the next chapter he is on form again, with an old woman being killed on the way to her farm, and her skeleton being picked clean by a horde of weasels. But then we fall right back to trifling incidents, such that by even chapter 14 the book is still replete with inanity, giving us a chapter about a cricket team being stung by some flying ants a bit. This after a story of some rabbits marching to a show tune while refusing to be chased by dogs. Or when tragedy was involved, it concerned a man with a weak heart being lured into deep water by a fish he was trying to catch. Or some dogs leading some sheep up a hill out of defiance. But things do pick up. Millions of slugs and worms cause a train to be derailed, as a man lies dying there with his legs cut off. A publicity agent ends up swimming in a sea of blood holding half the body of his beloved, after her bottom gets eaten by a shark, and a bunch of swimmers nearby get stung to death by an army of jellyfish. Then hordes of rabbits undermine a dam and leave hundreds drowned. Then hell truly breaks loose as Francis Folliot, the Minister of Agriculture, takes his young boy to the zoo, and all the animals break loose. An elephant takes his boy and smashes him to a pulp while his wife gets killed by a baboon, and hundreds die in the stampede, all being quite gruesome. Then all the power goes out nationwide, as the streets are paraded by murderous wild beasts, and domestic animals corner and kill their owners hiding in their homes. Then Francis Gordon awakes from a dream, but then a journalist calls him and tells him of a sudden epidemic of snake-related deaths among stevedores. A good chunk of this novel being cut would improve it markedly, as when it is on point it is very good.